Well, hello there and welcome back to the studio. My name is Kayla and today's video is a tutorial on how you can make these vintage inspired paper dolls that I've designed and have available in my Etsy shop as digital downloads, which means you can print them out at home and make them yourself just like this. Alright, this is voiceover Kayla to just kind of guide you through this process. Here's our materials list, and if you want to just skip all the Cricut stuff, I have a timestamp at the bottom of that screen for you there. Alright, so once you download the file from my shop, you can upload it to your Cricut design space by hitting New Project, Upload on the left side of the screen, and then finding it on your desktop. Open it up, select complex image just to be safe, and you'll notice here that it has a transparent background. That's why it's a PNG file, so that the Cricut knows to just print and cut around that. So make sure you do choose a print then cut image and upload it to your canvas. Once it is on your canvas, you'll notice this exclamation point on the right side of your screen, and that is just telling you that we need to resize it to fit it to an 8.5 by 11 inch paper. If you're using a different size paper, go ahead and do what you need to do, but I'm assuming that most people are going to be using 8.5 by 11 inch cardstock. So just make sure your little lock icon is locked up there and do the width at 6.75 inches. All right, then when we send it to the printer, you can turn off the add bleed, but do make sure to use the system dialog because we want to go down to quality and media and make sure that you are putting it on some type of matte photo paper. And make sure your print quality is set to high for the best results. Now once you hit print, it should come out with a black line around it like that, and you can just go ahead and load that sheet up to your standard grip mat. Just make sure that you set your base material to heavy cardstock in the Cricut design space before cutting it. Then you can load it up to the machine and let it do its thing. Once that's done, you can peel off your character and their limbs. You'll notice that I have some instructions written there. So all the shapes that have a dot will be on the top. And if you see an X, that means it'll be at the bottom. So for example, the heads have dots at the bottom. The brad will be going through that. That means the head will be at the top versus the little X that's on the torso. Now, if you are using scissors, you might want to also find a smaller pair that you can do some fine details with. For example, around Frankenstein's head, he has those bolts there, so you're probably going to want to use some smaller scissors meant for finer details. Okay, as you can see, I just cut kind of down and around to get the two characters separate. Now I am cutting around Frankenstein's head, and for the most part I was able to use my big scissors and just use those little fine detailing scissors for the bolts. Again, you don't have to be this particular, and also if you don't have any fine detail scissors, you should be able to use an X-Acto knife on a cutting board. As you can see here, I grab my cutting board and X-Acto knife to get those details in Frankenstein's trick-or-treat bag. Now you can just leave that with the white background, that's fine. It's more of a how particular you want to be. So here I'm just showing you that you can take that arm and cut around the candy in his trick-or-treat pail. It just takes a little extra time, but once I was done, it actually looked pretty good. I was happy with how it came out. And it just goes to show that you don't need a big Cricut machine to do this craft. Just be patient and careful with that X-Acto knife. Okay, once you have both characters cut out, we can go ahead and poke the holes for the brads in all the appendages. I recommend using some small brads like this. I found these at Michael's and they're just a really nice size for a craft like this. Here I'm using my Cricut weeding tool to poke holes in the cardstock. And in a little while, you'll notice that I switched to a thumbtack on a cutting board because it's just a bit safer, and I realized that more people probably have a thumbtack lying around their house than a Cricut weeding tool. But honestly, anything that you have that can poke a hole through cardstock will be fine. All right, now we start with Frankenstein's head, and we're going to put that on his torso so that dot at the bottom of his chin connects with the X that was at the top of his torso. We poke the brad through and just spread those, I'm not sure what they're called, and then we just open up the brad on the other side. There we have his head attached. Next, we attach the arms, and those both are going to attach to the back of his torso, like so. Just make sure the arms are behind his shoulders. And here's when I realized that a cutting board with a thumbtack will be a lot easier for everyone to use. And again, just like the arms, the legs will go behind the torso like so. Just connect with your brad, and there he is. Now for my candy corn kitty. It's just the same exact process actually. Her chin connects to the top of the torso. Arms and legs should go behind the torso. And there she is, ready to go. And there you have it, your 2 characters. I have an example here of all 4 that I made. So the 2 bigger ones on the left were made just by printing out and cutting with scissors. And then the smaller ones on the right were made with the Cricut machine. So just keep that in mind too. If you care, the Cricut machine will make your dolls a little bit smaller, but your cutting lines will be more exact, and vice versa with doing it by hand. Thank you for watching this one, and if you enjoyed it, remember to give it a thumbs up. Also hit that subscribe button if you're interested in seeing any more craft videos, or if you're interested in seeing any of my other how-to videos on running a small online art shop. If you want to see more of my work, you can find me on Instagram at Keila Draws. All right, see you in the next one. Bye!